Hello beautiful and welcome to another multiple indie palettes, multiple looks. I haven't done one of these in a long time and I have 4 new indie palettes here to talk about. Per usual, I will divide this video into chapters where I start with showing the palette, swatches, and then a look with the palette. These videos are never meant to be a shop with me. This is just me showing what is new in the indie community, showing you swatches, showing you a look, giving you my first initial thoughts on these. Are they the same formula you usually has? Is it something different? Do I like it? Do I hate it? Just a little bit of a insight into these new indie releases in case you were interested in any of these. So today we are going to be talking about the Chrome Volume 3 from DeDe Signature, the Strawberry Picnic by Simply Posh Cosmetics, the Fantasy Cosmetica and Multichromatica. This is the Cosmic Cove palette and the Silent But Deadly by Glaminatrix Cosmetics. You can use my discount code Angelica at all 4 of these places and you will get a discount if you're ordering from them. Code is affiliated. If you do use my code at these places or any of the other indie places where you can use it, thank you so much for supporting my channel. It really does help out. This look that I am wearing right now is actually with the Glaminatrix palette and that's going to be look number 4. I want to keep this intro short but sweet, but just wanted to let you know what we have to work with, what the concept of these are. Of course, you can always just see this as 4 different colorful tutorials. You can go back and maybe look again if you want to get some inspiration, shop your stash, use shades you already have. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, please give it a like, maybe leave a comment, and if you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe because I will definitely have more. Okay, let's get into look number 1, which is going to be with the DeDe Signature. We're gonna do the first look and it's gonna be with DeDe Signature Chromebook. Oh, that is not where it's supposed to be. Chromebook Volume 3. And I kind of recently got out of the shower. My hair is still wet. I still have not bought a hairdryer that works in Europe, so we're drying our hair the old-fashioned way. Loving the warm mattes. I know every time we talk about like warm shades, people are like, everything is warm. I feel the opposite. I feel like everything is cool right now. Everything is cool toned and I'm so excited to see some warm tones. Maybe I'm biased, I don't know. I'm gonna start with the orange one and I'm gonna blend out, deepen with this and blend out with that. Sorry that I'm looking in the viewfinder, but usually I have a big monitor here that doesn't like obstruct as much as, well, whatever the fluff I'm doing right now. But I want to make sure that like I'm in focus and that you see what I'm doing and all of that, and it will get better. I will say our stuff is supposed to come in 1 to 2 weeks as I'm filming this, and I don't know when this is going up. I have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing, and I think that's maybe the main thing. Like right now I really don't know what I'm doing. I am just sitting down. If I feel like filming, I'll sit down. I'll be like, what's in front of me? What would be fun? And as much as that has been super fun, I sometimes feel like, oh, I probably should have done something on that palette. Oh, I probably should have been on top of XYZ. Like I haven't done a proper follow-up video or favorites or ranking or palette video or anything like that for a really long time. So once I have my stuff and my studio is somewhat finished, because even though I am no longer a full-time YouTuber, this is not my full-time career, I still love doing this and I still have a studio because this is my biggest hobby and I want to make sure that I don't ruin this hobby that I love so much. So I still have a studio, a makeup room where I store all my makeup. Right now it's stored on the floor. Looking at it right now, it's giving me anxiety. You should be so happy you're not seeing this. And I just cannot wait till I can store it in my furniture again and organize it again and just, have everything the way that it is supposed to be. But that is not today, which is fine. we're actually going to dinner today, and that's why I decided to film this, because I'm like, oh, I want to wear some makeup, because we got invited to, we made some friends, okay? We've made a couple of friends actually since we moved here to Torino. I have been hanging out with a makeup Instagrammer, Frederica. You probably have seen her on my Instagram. And we also made friends with the son of an old co-worker to Ricardo's dad, and he is a realtor, so he's been helping us with like house stuff. And he and his girlfriend, who is so fun and so gorgeous, invited us for dinner tonight. And I told Ricardo, I'm like, oh my god, I have so much new makeup. Literally there's a pile in front of me, and I'm like, I wanna do my makeup, and I think I'm gonna film actually doing my makeup, because then I can do one of those, like, you know, several palettes, several look videos that I really love doing. And I have realized that, you know what, I think they do make sense on my channel right now, because I like doing them, you like seeing them. They're never gonna go viral, but I was never a channel that tried to go viral, so I'm just gonna keep chugging along and do what I enjoy doing, which is makeup tutorials. So we are just gonna do a couple of tutorials. As you can see, I'm blending out the orange with the yellow with a smaller brush, and I'm just small circular motions, buffing on the edge, using some of that mustard. That is looking so warm and yummy. Absolutely loving that. And I think I'm gonna do the same on the lower lash line too. I'm trying to find I was gonna say clean brush, best of luck. Thoughts and prayers. But maybe like a clean-ish brush. And now I'm doing Imperial Death. Ooh, that is hardcore. And I'm gonna deepen this up a bit. And I'm just gonna deepen up in the outer corner. Oh my god, this mirror is so small. I'm like holding it so far away. I'm just gonna deepen up in the outer corner, and then I'm just gonna, I think, use the exact same shades on the lower lash line too. And then I want to use one of these like darker shimmers. They look so delicious. So I did the same on the lower lash line, and as you can see, this is very warm and smoky, and I want to do either this one. I'm kind of toying with the idea of doing the one that has, so both of these are like dark bases, this one and this one. This one has more like gold, like red, like duochrome specks to it, and this one is more red purple. And I'm like toying, it almost looks like it has some green in there too. Like, look at that. Can you, I mean, you've already seen the swatches. There is definitely some green going on here, yes. And the other one, okay, so do I want to do one that is just like the red, or do I want to go with the more purple? I'm kind of toying with the idea of going with the more purple and then adding another purple shade to the inner part, just for the contrast. So I think I'm going to do the purpley one that's called Violet Sovereign. Oof, that is a great name. So this is the Violet Sovereign, and it is a little bit of a more, I don't want to say, it's not, it's more of a traditional shimmer formula in the consistency. It's not super emollient, which I prefer. But then this, like, it's a very dark smoky base, but then there is multichrome shimmers in it that goes from purple to like a red, yellow, and then a little bit of a green shift just at the end. It's a very different kind of multichrome because it has that like base, and it's the sparkles that are the multichromes. So I'm gonna put this, ooh, this is what I mean. I'm gonna put this almost all the way in, and then I'm gonna gently, I hope you can see, brush it, like little brush strokes, brushing it into the mats so that there is like somewhat of a smooth transition. Just gentle, small thingamabobs. And then with the brush that I had the dark purple, I'm just gonna run over that a little bit, and I'm gonna mix just the orange and the yellow, and I'm just running that over the edge. Let's do a little bit of the dark matte in the outer corner. And yeah, I think that looks Very sexy. Let's put some purple on as well. Okay, so looking at these, I think the half pan in this one is a purple iridescent. And I am very intrigued. Yes, I definitely think that this is the one. Okay, don't make me regret this. I'm meeting new people today. I think they invited some other people. I'm gonna be like, this is our crazy friend from Sweden who always looks like a clown, but what a happy clown. What? What a happy clown she is. It's, you can't see anything. It's almost a little bit more blue than purple. And now I'm like, should I put some pink on top? Oh, that's so fun. Okay, let me put some pink on top because there is a pink iridescent here as well. Let me just put a little bit on top. Why is this so fun? Ugh, I love makeup. Makeup is so much fun. How could anyone not love this? That pink one is definitely a little bit more chunky than the other one. I don't know why. I'm adding a little bit more of the dark shade just to blend them together. I kind of want to do a pastel purple inner corner. I think I might do a liner as well. I'm going to go into Jewels of Eternity by Epic Beauty. This one is available now. And I'm going to use the pastel purple in the corner. Because I'm like, oh, sorry. That is exactly like what I am looking for. Let me see if I can clean off a pencil brush. Don't hold your breath. And I'm thinking pastel purple. And I kind of want to swoop it up in and like brighten this part. Oh, there's something about a matte inner corner that just brings me joy. Unexplained joy. Ooh, I'm really loving that. I think I'm gonna do a black waterline. I'm gonna do a wing liner. I'm gonna put on Office Siren lashes, and I am just gonna be smexy. Okay, my time is officially up and I need to leave. We are heading to dinner right now, okay? You can even tell it's like darker behind me than when I started. It's because it is later, but this is the first look with the palette. It turned out even darker than I anticipated. Maybe I can't help myself. I always do dramatic looks, but I will say I really enjoyed the quality of the shadows I use. All the three matte shadows had no problem. They were pigmented, buildable, blendable. I could sheer them out. I can build them on top of each other. Thought they were very easy to work with. And I love a warm crease. So for me, these are great staple shadows to have in this palette. I can even use just these two together and skip the orange, or these two together and skip the brown. For me, these are great, like mattes to have in here. I did add on a matte inner corner myself, but just a personal preference. I mean, there are literally a million shimmer inner corner highlights in here if you prefer that. Overall, just using it once, I think the quality is really beautiful. I had no problems whatsoever. I don't even think the lashes are like dry down, but I'm heading off to dinner. You're gonna be able to see, look. I didn't even change out of my t-shirt. It's fine, it's fine. I'll film like this. We're gonna do a look with the Strawberry Picnic. This is a new palette by Simply Posh Cosmetics. As I'm filming this, I literally have no idea when this is launching. They haven't even announced it. And I really wanna play with the strawberry pie and the basket full, the red and the pink. And I think I'm gonna do something neutral on my lower lash line. So I might do like an ombre with some of these like neutrals on the lower lash line. And then maybe I don't know, one of these like pinky shimmers here. But I'm gonna start with a red on I was gonna say a clean F06. This will not be clean. Cleaning it off a little bit on my color switch. Don't judge me. Listen, judge me a little bit. Shame me into deep cleaning my brushes. Oh, I need to. One thing that I did not realize with Simply Posh that they have been doing for a really long time is that they actually already have a talc-free formula, and I was not aware. And it's one of those things that I've been looking at myself, not because I'm trying to avoid talc, but because regulation has like caught up with talc, and unfortunately it's an ingredient that is getting just kind of exited out of the beauty community. And I recently have started formulating myself without talc, which is it's really hard to formulate without talc, I'm gonna tell you. But Simply Posh, their formula is talc free, and I looked at some of my older palettes from them. They were also already talc free, so I find that very, very impressive, because it took me a really long time to nail my talc free formula so that it felt exactly the same as before. And Simply Posh has just been out here doing it the whole time. I'm just gonna be like pushing this on the edge. You can see I'm doing the blob. And the blob is just me putting a blob of color and beginning in my outer corner, outer V. And I'm just gonna be pushing on this edge. F06 is perfect because it is dense enough to pick up color and really pack it on, but it is also soft and flimsy enough so you can just push on the edge. And as you can tell, it kind of is just dispersing and blending for you without swiping back and forth and making it be like patchy, because some of these brighter shades you want to like keep the intensity, but you still want to have softened edges. I'm actually kind of enjoying that. I am going to be switching to an EO4, and I'm going to be pushing this into the inner part of the crease. Oh yes, I love a look like this. I just think red and pink are such a fun color combo, and one of these days I'm going to have to do a palette that has red and pink too, because I just think it's so fun. This isn't light enough to be an inner corner highlight for me, so I might have to go in with something else, but that's not really a problem. It's so easy to find something else to put in. I'm gonna put a little bit of the brown. This is chocolate dipped. If you do a little bit of a neutral lower lash line together with a bright top look, you can really like mute the look down. Having a like more muted or more neutral lower lash line will immediately make your look less intense. I mean, not that this is a non-intense look, but I think you know where I'm coming from. So I'm just going between all of the light browns right now, and I'm just gonna blend this out with the lightest one, Picnic. I gotta say, I think I'm gonna try and remove some of this. You see the red that came down a bit? I think I'm gonna try and see if I can remove that. Okay, what I did, by the way, is I just took a makeup wipe on my finger, like I wrapped it around my finger. I should have shown you. Next time, I'll show you. Wrapped around my finger, and I just pulled off a little bit. I applied a little bit of the foundation that I'm wearing, which is the L'Oreal, the new Balm one. I have it in light medium, and I did it in this one and not the concealer to not make it too stark. And I just dabbed on a little bit with the sponge that I've been using, and then I just went over and blended the edges a little bit with my highlighter again, and I think it looks pretty good. So that's what I did. I didn't make it too, because I don't want it to be like too sharp, so I didn't do like a sharp line. So I was like dabbing a little bit. I hope that makes sense. Next time I'll show you, promise. But that's how I did it to get this instead. So I think I'm gonna do the pink that's called Jam, and I'm gonna be spritzing this. Actually, I'm more of a marmalade than a jam person. I love a good I love toast with like butter and marmalade. I am a huge fan. Okay, let me see if we can. I did spritz it, but I still feel like maybe it is a little bit textured, more textured than I would like it to be. Let me see if I can. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this one, I think you can even see, right? That it's like hanging. It's a little bit more textured than I prefer. And this brand is by no means the only brand who does this. A lot of brands are having these like more flaky textured shadows because like they look so impactful when you swatch them, but they do give some fallout, and they have a tendency of looking a little textured on the lids as well if you do not have super smooth 21-year-old lids. I think you can see it a little bit here. Love the color combo though, that's really beautiful. Let me reapply a little bit of the red out here and a little bit of the chocolate dipped Okay, so I used, is this the Sunnyvale liner in my waterline? Again, I keep it neutral on the lower lash line. And I dug out Sickly Sweet by Blend Bunny simply because it has a couple of well, it has a bunch of that's what this one has, pastels. But it has 2 pink pastels. I'm gonna try this one, and if it's not light enough, I might do this one. But it's called Lollipops. Lollipops, lollipops. Nobody wants to hear that, baby. Come on. Ooh, and I specifically picked this one because it is a little bit more of a cool toned, again, lollipop, a bright candy pink. And I'm gonna do like I always do, which is I wrap and then I push it into the hood to like brighten this area. And I might go, ooh, I actually have them, because I've removed the office sirens that I've been using in the bathroom. So I'm gonna go and get my office sirens and put them on to really like do that like sexy siren look. I feel like that's what I want to do. So that is a look with the Strawberry Picnic palette right there. Of course, there are so many things you could do. I literally did not even touch any of the green shades, which, am I okay? Do I have a fever? But I do enjoy that there are so many greens here. And I enjoy that they're like more muted, like a muted, I don't want to say nature, because I hate when I say that, like there aren't neons in nature. Like nature comes with a lot of really bright colors, y'all. But I really enjoy this makeup, and I do enjoy this color story. I feel like it is, you know, the kind of palette I just did, which is a colors meets neutrals, where you can go really bold like this, or you can go very like muted with a lot of these tones. You could definitely do a lot of neutral looks as well. I personally don't have anything, maybe this one honestly could be it. This is probably in the corner highlight for me, but again, I have a zillion palettes, so it is definitely not a problem for me to go into any of my other palettes and just use something else. Also, I'm pretty sure, yeah, these are magnetic, so you could definitely just pop in something else from some other palette or another Simply Posh palette, because they definitely do have quite a lot of palettes. So I don't know, I probably talked about that in the beginning, if it's available or not. As I'm filming this, they haven't even said that they're releasing anything. It's literally crickets over at their Instagram, so I'm excited to see what you think about this one, but I like the look. Ooh, last time I wore these earrings, I got a lot of questions. They're from Zara, and I actually just bought them, so they're from Zara. If I can find them, and if I can remember, I will link them down below. They might be sold out, but I bought them in store literally like a week ago. So let's get into look number 3, which is gonna be, I have no idea, something. It is time for the next look, and I don't know if this is the one that I'm the most excited about, but this is just so different from other things that are being released right now, and I include a lot of things in that. This is the Cosmic Cove by Fantasy Cosmetica, and is it Multichromatica? I was gonna say Monochromatica, that is not true. Multichromatica, which is a creator that I'm familiar with until now, but I am so intrigued by their vision, because for me, this is bringing back old indie color stories in a new and fresh way. It is bright, it is bold, and at first when I saw it, I was like, oh, I don't know about this one. But then the more I saw it, and that's the thing. Sometimes when you see a color story, you're like, I don't know what to do with this. And then the more you look at it, the more options you see. And I feel like sometimes we almost make palettes too safe, and this is not safe. This is fun, this is different. I am loving the different combinations in here. I see so many things that I want to do. I also felt this way with the, was it Nueva Vida? The one that Steph's Beauty Stash did with Gourmand Girls. That was also a palette. I can see if I can pop up a picture. It was so different. It had a color story that I had never seen. It was bright, it was fun, it was different, and it was challenging in a good way. I'm not saying this is challenging, but it's giving me that bright feel that indie makeup used to be. Indie makeup used to be the place where they did color stories that was not safe, where they did things that were like, oh, this isn't gonna sell mainstream at Sephora, but we're an indie brand, we can do whatever we want, and I absolutely love that. So this was a long and winded intro about how excited I am about this palette, but it's just kind of reigniting my love for brights and kooky things, and I am very, very excited. So I'm gonna do Ether, and I'm gonna do Wisp, and I'm gonna do those two as a blob in the outer corner. And I really wanna use Ooze, loving that color, and Fungi. I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, from what I see here, yellow base with like a peach to a green shift. I haven't swatched this palette yet, but there's so many things here where I'm like, it looks so fun. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start with Ether. Can you tell? I am so excited. This palette has a really good mirror as well, so I'm actually going to use the mirror in the palette. So you can get this palette over at Fantasy Cosmetica, and you can use my code there. I talked about that in the beginning, but I actually got this palette from Monolith because right now, ooh, that is so beautiful. Right now that I am living in the EU again, sometimes it's easier both for brands to send me PR from Monolith or for me to just order from Monolith. So sometimes it makes sense to order from the brand, sometimes it makes sense to order from Monolith. I would definitely suggest you checking it out and comparing the prices and all of that. And my code Angelica does work with Monolith too, but they have a system where when they have a new release, they won't allow codes like the first couple of days. Basically meaning if it sells out without a code, mean they didn't really need a code, which honestly makes 100% sense. That is so beautiful. I love that color. I would say right now, probably like my favorite eyeshadow color is probably yellow, but my heart will always beat for a blue. And for the longest time, I always used to say the blue was my favorite color of eyeshadow. And even though I probably wear yellow more now than I wear blue, my heart will still always beat for a blue eyeshadow look. There's just something about it. Okay, with a smaller brush, I'm gonna do Wisp, and I'm gonna put that on the edge to blend it out. Sometimes I start with light, sometimes I start with dark. It kind of depends on how deep I want the color to go. If I want it to be very deep in the outer corner, I try to start with the color that I want to be the most impactful. And in this look, it is that dark blue. So sometimes it makes sense to start with the color that you want to make sure is like, you know, the hero of the look. And for me, that was definitely Ether. So I'm just blending a little bit with Wisp now. But sometimes you just want to use that dark shade to like deepen up another color a little bit, and then I will use it last. Because whatever people tell you, if you put one shadow on top of another, the one you have underneath will always affect the one you put on top. The like pigments will blend together. It just is the way it is. So if you want it to be true to pan, you kind of have to put it on first on an unset primer and just blend the edges. This is something I've learned during the years that I've been using and really like a loving colorful shadow. And now I'm applying a little bit more of Ether just to blend out the edge and make sure again that I'm not losing that dark blue. So I did the same thing under my eyes as well. I think it looks really gorgeous. So this is Ooze. And it's like this, let me see if I have some creasing. It is this beautiful, almost like a pastel poison lime. Like, look at that. Look at that. Wow. I've been really into like the green with the blue. That's a combination that I've been loving for a really long time, and I especially love the combination with green, blue, and yellow back in the day. Let me know if you've been here this long. I used to have a series on my channel that was called the Monthly Quad. I really loved doing those, but as the interest of single shadows deterred and as the interest for tutorials online deterred, it was just not a series that got a lot of views on my channel, and I did eventually stop doing it. But one of my favorite combos was when I did the green with the yellow with the blue. Absolutely love that. So I'm gonna put this in my inner corners too, and I'm also gonna put it on the lower lash line to meet up a little bit. I mean, this is very dramatic, but also, have you met me? Okay, so what I really want to do is I want to use fungi. Well, this will be then, look. A yellow, blue, and a green. I didn't think even that I was going to do a yellow shimmer, but here we are. But I do think that this will pull a little different on the lid. I'm going to spritz this because I am going to be putting this on top of the mattes. And I do think, I haven't even swatched this, but I think this will behave a little different on the eye. And I am putting this, be still my heart. I'm putting this where they meet. Yeah, it's gonna appear way more green on the lid. And I knew this because I knew the shift was gonna look more green. Look at how beautiful that is. Oh. So I'm putting this on where they meet and a little bit on the lid. I'm getting a little bit of fallout. I'm gonna use a little bit more of ooze and I'm gonna put that on top. Because these kind of pastels, when you put shimmers on top of them, they have a tendency of kind of like just flaking off because of just the nature of the pastel. And then I'm gonna do, let me see if I can do, this is Rift. It's the one that's here. It's like a darker shade. Let me do a little bit of that one on a different brush. And I'm gonna spritz that too, because again, we're putting it on top of mattes. And usually when you put it on top of mattes, it's just gonna flake down. And we're gonna put that here. Again, just a little bridge between the lighter shimmer and the darker matte. Just a little bit out here. And just buffing these together a little bit. Gonna put a little bit more of the green on top just to make sure that we have a transition. And then with the brush that we have the ether, which is the dark matte, I'm again putting that out here too to make sure that everything is just blending together and not looking weird. I am having a really good hair day today. Doesn't my hair look so nice? A lot of people have been asking me what I use for my hair when I have it like this. And I've been using this tool right here, but it's been like discontinued. If I can find it, I will link it down below. If I can't find it, I'll see if I can maybe find something similar. But that's what I'm using to get my hair to look like this. And then what I do is that I don't brush my hair. I just like kind of scrunch it with my hands to break up the waves a little bit. And I actually don't have any products in my hair whatsoever. I'm just using that one. I think it looks really cute. Okay, I really like it. Back to the palette. Loving the look, loving the color combos, and I'm loving the options that you can do in this palette. I really think that these three together would be amazing. I think these two together would be amazing. And even these three as well. Like there's a lot of options here. This gray one, I'm sure will be so great with a lot of these like iridescent, like multi and duochromes as well. I think that this palette is giving me a lot of creativity. And I really hope one day I can bring a palette like this to the market where people look at it and first they're like, oh, I don't know what to do with this. And then the more they look at it, the more things they see. And I just want to be able to give Fantasy Cosmetica and the creator the flowers that they deserve for this very inspiring and fun palette. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. I will have a fourth look. I will have time to film a fourth look. So that one is coming now. I have two palettes that I would like to film looks with. So it would either be the Unearthly and Andromeda Woeful Whimsy, or it's going to be the Silent But Deadly by Glaminatrix. Which one it is, you'll see right now. decided that the fourth look is gonna be with the Glaminatrix Silent But Deadly, and I based it simply on the fact that I've had this palette for quite some time and I haven't had time to do anything with it. So today is the day, and I kind of almost want to do something that is, I don't want to say neutral, but not too bright, because I am wearing one of the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks that she did with Marilyn Monroe. Well, not with Marilyn Monroe, but like you get it. I'm wearing the Norma Jean, which is the orangey red. It is so stunning, and I kind of want to like do something with the palette that goes with this. So I was thinking this one, I think this row. I'm gonna see, oh my god, I got red on my hand. I'm gonna see if I can do something that is slightly more, I don't want to say neutral, but like on the neutral side. So I'm gonna start with this one and blend it out with this one. I might use a little bit of the Hot Boxed, the purple here. Of course, this palette is more like, it's a bit of a joke. You mean it's a little bit of fun. It is like the follow-up palette on the, what was it called? The poop palette that they had. Did it just call the poop palette? I don't remember. The one they had, they like made a sneak peek for like April Fools last year. Oh my god, I lost the word. And then people were like, no, actually we want this. So they decided to release it, and that's what that palette was. And now they did a little fun like second on that, and instead of poop, it's farts. Listen, I am very much a child at heart, and I can laugh at anything. Not exactly like my style, or maybe 100% my sense of humor, but also like stuff like this doesn't really offend me. And I do think it's fun when brands show just like, it's not that deep. Sometimes it's just for fun. That's a really nice dark purple, I gotta say. Really liking that. I think I'm gonna put some, I'm gonna dig out an EO7 that is not clean. Let me see if I clean off a little bit. And I'm gonna do a little bit under here as well. I'm gonna use the fluffiest brush, which is a EO3, and I'm just gonna buff a little bit on this edge before we go in with cheek squeak, and blend out the edge. And I'm gonna be using that on a EO4, which is my favorite to blend out the edges of a deeper shade. And you can see there is a little pigment to that neutral one for sure. I might even put a little bit of that just towards the inner part of the crease. Oh yeah. I definitely think that this will work as a semi-neutral look. I'm going back in with the dark purple that is called Gas Leak. Okay, and I'm just gonna be blending these together. Okay, the blend is a little choppy, but I think that's me. I am the problem, okay? Trying to blend like these two shades together. I probably should have gone in with the brown first, but here we are. I'm a rebel, okay? I'm a rebel, and you don't get to tell me what to do. But with that being said, I'm just gonna blend out this part of the primer, and then I'm gonna use Hot Boxed. I think this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna put that next to this. Ooh, isn't that like so cute? Okay, I'm really liking that. And I think I'm gonna put the pastel pink next to it too. Wait, I'm really enjoying that. Blend a little bit of the dark purple in here. And then, like I said, I'm gonna use the same brush, and I'm gonna do Like Roses, this like pastel pink here. And I think I'm gonna put that next to it. And just like that. Does this go with an orange lip? Listen. Maybe. Let's go with maybe. I'm gonna do the same on the lower lash line, and then let's do a shimmer. I'm gonna try and soften this up a little bit more, because like I said, I think it's my choppy blending, and like you can see this fold here, it is not getting less with age. I can tell you that for free. Okay, there is a little bit of fallout in this palette, I'm gonna be honest. So there's a split pan here. One is more of a peach and one is more of a pink. And I really want to use the peach side. So I'm gonna try and just go into that one. It's called De Poo. And I really want to use the peach side. So I'm gonna go into that one. Ooh. Really pretty, a little flaky, so I am gonna be spritzing it, and I'm gonna try and put that on my lid. Wish me luck. I just really wanted to have the pop of the peach. Ooh, a little flaky, like I said. I'm gonna do a little bit more of the purple and a little bit more of the pink. I think that's gonna turn out okay. I mean, what do I know? I'm really liking how it's looking over the dark purple. Like, look at that. Ugh, loving that. But I think that little pop did something. Do you know what we can use? Oh my gosh. Hold. I just realized this is the perfect opportunity to use the lilac Cupid's arrow. Isn't this gonna be like perfect? So I put the Stealth Wealth, my own brand Cinch Beauty lashes on. I will try and remember and see if I can link the lashes down below, because I have been, of course, using Cinch Beauty lashes for all of these looks because, I mean, to be fair, it's the lashes I've been using for the past year. I really love the lashes that I did, but I really like this. It's an unexpected combo. It is like a taupey lavender peach look with this warm lip. I love a mix between a cool tone and a warm tone, and sometimes the mix between the cool tone and warm tone can also be the cheeks or the lips. You are okay to not be monotone. You're okay to not be monochromatic. It is okay to try different things, and there will always be someone, and there's probably someone right now. You're leaning over the keyboard and you're typing out, "It would be more flattering if you," maybe, but would it be more fun? I would argue no. And sometimes we are not here to be pretty. We're already pretty. We're just here to have a good time. We're just here to have fun. I'm not trying to look like a beauty queen. I'm trying to look like a lot of fun. And I think I look like a lot of fun. Thank you so much for still liking these videos, liking the video, commenting, sharing, making these videos viable for someone like me, because like I said, it does take a really long time to do these videos. So please don't forget to let me know which one is your favorite look. Which one was my favorite look? So I would say out of these palettes, I do think that the Cosmic Cove is my favorite, and it is because, again, it is just such an unexpected color combo. It is just something different. It is a throwback to a time where like color combos were just a little bit more wild and unexpected, and in a way I kind of miss it. But I gotta be honest, I kind of liked all the looks. This is my favorite chrome look so far, even though I am not always the biggest fan of these shimmer heavy palettes. With this, I do feel like the mattes down here really make sense for this palette, and you can make a lot of different things. I do really love the palettes from Simply Posh. I do wish they would bring in maybe a little bit more contrast into their palettes. I really like the 2/3 mattes, 1/3 shimmer. I think that's a great ratio. You know, I love something like that. And I like the color story that's going on in here. I do wish there was maybe a little bit more contrast in here, and that there was a little bit more of a difference between the light shades and some of the dark shades. That's just a personal preference though, but I still think that it is a really beautiful palette. I always love a good Glaminatrix quality. I've only done one look so far, and I did try deliberately to do something a little bit more toned down because I had a red lip and I wanted to work with that. But I will say I really did enjoy these, and I think these are as beautiful as Glaminatrix usually are. And I really did like this dark shade here. I think that's a beautiful shade. And I honestly think that these two together will probably be absolutely incredible. And I love, again, the ratio between mattes and shimmers. That's a great ratio for me. So I didn't have a problem with any of these palettes, but I do still think that the Cosmic Cove is my favorite. Let me know which one is your favorite, and I will see you soon in a new video.